Should you consider a spike protein detox? Well, my answer is probably, especially if you had the COVID-19 shot. I'll look at the cover here and it shows that the spike protein can actually get into multiple organ systems within the body. And I'll show you some data that some people seem to be having problems with this. Little background on me: I've been a health educator for over 3 decades. I've also been in clinical practice. I've treated world champions from every major professional sport. And I've also seen the other end of the spectrum, people that medicine gave up on, sent them home to die. And thankfully, some of these patients are alive, sometimes even decades later. But now they're talking about a link between the coronavirus vaccines and long COVID type illness. Now, this graphic is going to say that it's rare, but that's highly, highly debatable. When the spike protein mRNA vaccine is injected into the body, genetic material goes into the cells of the body, and then something called the ribosome actually starts to make the spike protein, and that protein can get out of the cell and go and, disturb other cells of the body is a great way to say it. Now, this spike protein was supposed to be very, very temporary, short-lived, but they found out that it actually can last, in this study, 709 days after vaccination. And by the way, that is probably still running. So how many days could it be in any individual's body? Well, at least 700 in some. Some hopefully will clear it faster. So what are the symptoms? Well, 85% of the people have excessive fatigue, 80% tingling and numbness, 80% exercise intolerance, 77.5% brain fog, 72.5% difficulty concentrating or focusing, 70% trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, 70% neuropathy, 70% muscle ache, 65% anxiety, 60% tinnitus. So I asked AI, how common is post-vaccine syndrome? Well, believe it or not, the estimates range from as little as to 3 in 100,000 people. Yeah, that is what 0.003% is, 3 in 100,000 people, or nearly 2 in 3 people, 64.6%. Well, the number's probably somewhere in between. If it were 3 in 100,000, I wouldn't have seen the dozens of patients in my clinic that had it. But if we're 2 in 3, I'd probably be seeing more of it. So what are we going to do about it? Well, what they found out during COVID was that smokers somehow seem to be protected from the effects of the virus. So interestingly enough, nicotine binds to the spike protein receptor 30 times stronger. So what I tell people is, if we're playing musical chairs and you're 30 times stronger than me, you're going to win every time. If nicotine is in your system, it's going to compete 30 times stronger for that spike protein receptor. Ginkgo biloba, lobelia, and another one, mentoflavone, not one that I've used. I've used the other two, can also displace the spike protein. Once we displace it, we want to digest it with certain types of enzymes. The medical literature seems to like nattokinase, another called lumbokinase, another serrapeptidase. These can all be used. I've found that good plant-based proteases work well. Get them from a good, clean, high-level nutrition company. One of the quotes from the medical literature that I found very, very powerful is the application of enzyme therapies appears almost limitless. So you take these enzymes, they're first going to do no harm. They may actually do a whole lot of good for you. Then finally, once we displace the spike protein, dissolve the spike protein, we probably want to eliminate the source of the spike protein, which are cells that I'll call them mutated. Their genetics have been mutated, not the DNA, but the RNA has been mutated to create the spike proteins. And if those things are still in the system 709 days after the vaccination, I'm guessing that the cells that are producing them are still producing them. So Ganoderma is known to stimulate natural killer cells, and it will actually kill viral infected cells and mutated cells, even cancer cells. There's a new research that shows that N-acetylcysteine, and there's a special form out of Zurich, Switzerland, that's even more effective. I don't know how to get that just yet, but 600 milligrams a day in 3 divided doses. So 200 milligrams 3 times a day can work. And here's the summary of what we're going to do. We're going to displace the spike protein. Nicotine patch is easy. You put it on once a day. I've recommended this to patients. You can buy 7 milligrams on Amazon, 7 milligram patches, cut them in half and just replace that patch every single day. Or ginkgo biloba is a lot more available than the other 2 displacing herbs. So I recommend 10 milligrams every waking hour. Check with your doctor. That's a safe dose. If you're awake 16 hours a day, it's easily in the margin of safety. We always want to be safe. Remember, first do no harm is our rule. We want to dissolve the spike protein, plant-based proteolytic enzymes every waking hour. N-acetylcysteine doesn't actually dissolve it, but it disrupts it and makes it dysfunctional and less pathologic. And then finally, I recommend 250 to 500 milligrams of Ganoderma spores every waking hour. Very important that I mention the spores because they are the most powerful immune stimulant part of the plant. And I am actually an investor in a company that has the highest bioavailable form. So if I can help you with that or anything else, please send me a message. And as always, I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, absolutely knowing that we can all be happy, healthy, and successful.